The only thing in this life that sparks more outrage and like controversy than Nintendo is Pokemon. Every single like new generation, new worm Pokemon, new plushie just turns into this weird medieval battle where people are just swinging swords left and right and nobody knows what's going on, but we're just at each other's necks. And with this newest announcement, this medieval battlefield has just turned into a war at this point. It's gone the distance. Pokemon FireRed and LeafGreen are officially coming to the Nintendo Switch eShop. This is a huge deal because it's the first time ever that a mainline Pokemon game is getting ported over to the Switch, and there's no like remake, there's no overhaul. It is a standalone title of the classic game. It's not like HD 2D, which, you know what? Why is this not the new direction of Pokemon? What are we doing here? No HD 2D, my friends. This is quite literally the ROM getting placed on your Nintendo Switch home screen. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty excited about this, and that's mostly because Pokemon FireRed was literally the very first video game that I have ever played in my life. My grandma got it for me in 2005-ish. I played it on my Game Boy Advance SP, and I have vivid memories of my brother like lying to me about being able to glitch outside of like the trees in Viridian City on the right side. So like I have the memories and nostalgia that I have in this game go back to even like brotherly tormenting, which is why this like war and chaos that's going on does feel very personal to me as a person who grew up with Pokemon. And unlike everything else that gets talked about with Nintendo, I don't think this is no longer just about the price tag or a $20 bill. To me, this is more of a power struggle. For years, Nintendo has tried to modernize our nostalgia and just resell it to us with like remakes and reimaginings, but they've been surprisingly hesitant to give us the original GBA experience on modern hardware. With the Switch era and even with the 3DS era, we didn't get any of the GBA games, which a lot of people, myself included, would consider like the classics. I think there's a reason why all of the ROM hacks are based off of like Gen 3 style graphics. And while Nintendo ignored all of these, the fans then took the keys to the kingdom. Through the hard work of like 2 decades of emulation, the community here hasn't just preserved these games, but they have perfected them and in many ways made better versions of them with the ROM hacks that we just talked about, which is exactly why I think there's a weird tension here with the release of these newer games. For whatever reason, Nintendo did not drop this on Nintendo Switch Online, which is a subscription model service where they drop a lot of other classic titles, and even some Pokemon games are on NSO. But I'm very happy about this because anything to get us away from the subscription model is just a huge W, because at the end of the day, we would just be paying even more for this after like years and years of subscription prices piling up. I also think that $20 is way easier to swallow for most people if they don't want to play and buy the original cartridge on eBay, which will run them like almost half of the price of, you know, a Switch nowadays, which is insane. So this is a good option for people who are like, hey, I want to play the game on original hardware, but I really don't want to spend $120. $20 is way more expensive than I had thought. I was hoping for like $14.99 or something, but you know, with all of the added features and, you know, modern updates that they have given the ROM. Wait, sorry, what did you say? Okay, there is like literally nothing new about this game that is coming to the Nintendo Switch. No added content, no features, no nothing. It's literally just the ROM getting smacked onto your Nintendo Switch. At first, it was mentioned that Pokemon Home would be coming to this game, which is a cloud subscription service that lets you transfer your Pokemon to other modern titles, so you could actually move things around between the games. But now, no, if you catch Pokemon in this game, it's digitally trapped here for all of eternity. Okay, wait, I lied. Apparently, it is coming. They just talked about this in the Pokemon Presents. Later down the line, they plan on adding this, but it's not going to be there on the release, so I don't know, I guess your Pokemon are kind of saved. They also specifically mentioned that there is no online play, which to me is... This is weird, dude. We are in a world now where we are buying a digital game that requires the internet to access and to purchase. Then I need that same internet to download the game. Then when I'm playing the game, I cannot use the internet. What kind of like twisted, sick, evil villain logic is this? It's moments like this where I'm just convinced, dude, nothing makes any sense at all. And speaking of digital, it's only gonna be released digitally. There is no like physical release for this thing. If you live in Japan, you can get like cute little Pokemon balls and like some little figurines. But even then, the game itself, the box, it just comes with a code. There is no cartridge. You just open it up and it's like, here's your code, brother. And this is only in Japan because obviously if it came to the US or the West or any other country, then scalpers would somehow start squaring up with each other in front of the Pokemon vending machine. What reality are we living in? And unfortunately, if you're a retro handheld nerd, the biggest thing you're gonna notice missing from this release is the beautiful act of fast forwarding. The ability to fast forward in these older games is so convenient, and it just makes it a lot more enjoyable because every random encounter doesn't make you want to just like throw your handheld in the washer again. It's definitely just sad, and I'm not sure if it's sad because we all have attention spans that are so unbelievably fried that we can't even play an older generation of Pokemon, or if it's sad because the company can just do absolutely nothing with the release and still make money. I don't even know how fast forwarding or save states would work with Pokemon because I think you could just like farm shinies then at that point. So I don't know what the solution is, but it's at the end of the day, it's just the ROM, dude. It's the ROM. That's it. And because it's literally just the same, it has created a very fascinating conversation to me. Normally with these releases, the like Nintendo shills come in and defend their multi-billion-dollar company, and then also the Nintendo haters come in and then just start trashing on a game or an experience that they haven't even played and probably never will even give a chance to. So you get this weird like conflict between the two. There's never any resolution. They both make their silly little Reddit posts and then they just kind of flock away. But now this is different because the Emulation boys have decided to drop in too. FireRed and LeafGreen have got to be like the most emulated and played games on the planet. I remember playing this game on my iPod Touch in middle school, and I thought I was like some tech wizard because I managed to get this working, and it was amazing. And I'm pretty sure everybody else has done this as well. And the amount of people that I have seen trying to dunk on Nintendo because of this fact is quite literally the funniest thing to me. Now, obviously, with this channel, I'm a huge fan of emulation and game preservation as a whole, but I don't know, this just really cringes me out, man. You know, if you want emulation to be around for a while, maybe we should not mascot it as like the key for all piracy. I'm not trying to take a high ground in this argument, but I get a lot of questions where they ask me, what is the future of emulation? And I want everybody to have the freedom to use this platform and to use emulation any way they want to, but I just don't want to see us publicly talking about it as a vehicle to then dunk on other companies because you got it and you didn't have to pay anything. I think once we start putting it in that spotlight and have that perspective on it, the longevity is definitely tainted and twisted a little bit worse. And you know, I'm no saint on the internet. I have done some vile things, dude. I watched High School DxD when I was younger. I've lived in the filth on the internet, okay? I am no saint. And thus we have the current state of Pokemon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the war that I'm talking about, dude. There's just, we got everybody here. The whole gang has shown up. We got the emulator boys, we got the shills over here, we got the haters over here, and the real tragedy is just you and I standing in the middle of all of this. Pokemon has gotten so massive that we're at a point where it feels as though it is public domain. I mean, this franchise has been involved with so many of our childhoods. You know, I've talked about it before, but if I didn't have Pokemon growing up, my parents' divorce would have sucked, dude. This was like my escape, and I used this and abused it when I was a child to get out of all of the yelling. These games, like many of you, were my outlet, so we have a special connection where it kind of feels like it belongs to us in a weird, twisted, sick, capitalist way. But Nintendo like reminding us that we don't own anything. The real tragedy, though, of all of this isn't the fact that we don't own Pokemon or the fact that it's $20. It's just the fact that you can't exist anymore without just without just enjoying things. I'm seeing everything move in opposite directions in real time. The company is trying to restrict everything and tighten the grip as we go into this weird state of a weakened economy. And then on the other side is just like a bunch of people yelling at us that we should be stealing. And the tension just keeps growing more and more. And my biggest fear is that it'll just explode. So my advice to you as I try to extinguish this war that's going on is to just stop caring about all of this. It is such stupid noise. If you think 20 bucks is worth it and you'll play FireRed on your Switch and have a good time, then by all means, enjoy it. If you think it's overpriced and would rather play like the Pokemon FireRed aesthetic version that is a complete update and you can emulate it and play it on whatever device you want, that's also sick. And you should enjoy that too. I'm gonna enjoy that. What we should be focusing on is not whether it's good or bad, but just the fact that we have a lot of options as a consumer, that's literally what we've always wanted, is just more choices. And I'm gonna conclude this TED Talk by basically telling you that this war of Pokemon actually represents almost everything that is going on as the internet consumes and devours everybody's brain, because corporations and politicians, if they can get you to become an extremist or debate with each other and clash with each other, it's much easier to control you. So we as a group of people have to come together and like actually love one another regardless of what's happening, because if we're all split up and separated, we will be more controlled. And that is my TED Talk. I'm gonna go lie down in bed and play FireRed because I think I am getting a cold and I am tired.
I can see the whole future from right where I'm sitting. The ball's main stage in the village still hitting. The odds stay in the game, but I'm still trying to sub it. And my dreams exhale to more to make a living. Tight funds on my back, burning cash, not my ammo life.